This is the Horse Radio Network. This is episode 374 of Horse Tip Daily, a different horse tip, a different equine topic, a different equestrian expert every day. Horse Tip Daily brings the world of equine knowledge to you one day at a time. Today's tip is sponsored by FeedXL. Visit them at FeedXL.com. I am Glenn the Geek from Lexington, Kentucky, and you're listening to Horse Tip Daily. Well, today we have back with us Mandee Widrick. She's been on once before, and she's an entrepreneur and business owner in her early 20s, living in New York, and not the city. She lives outside the city. She's also CEO of Charged Up Media, a social media marketing company, and enjoys teaching other entrepreneurs and business owners how to market online. And you might say, how can you do that when you're only in your early 20s? This girl is bright. She's very sharp at it, and she does a tremendous job. She works it to death, and I think she's one of the better ones in our industry, actually. She's also the creator of Horse Family, an online blog-style magazine for equestrians founded in January 2010. Mandee is brought to you by FeedXL. You know, if you are not sure how to feed your horse, or whether you're feeding your horse correctly or giving them too much of this or too little of that, if you would like to see if you can save money, maybe you're overdoing some supplements that you're paying big bucks for, then stop over to FeedXL.com. It only takes a couple of minutes to put in all the information about your horse and what your horse eats, and then it'll do all kinds of fancy math, and it'll spit out a report for you in many different forms, actually, that you can take a look at whether you're feeding too much of this or too little of that, from hay to grain to supplements. And, you know, FeedXL can actually save you money by showing you where you might be feeding too much for your horse. Is it cheaper to feed pellets or oats? Can you meet your horse's nutritional requirements with pasture and hay? And it uses a cost calculator to formulate and calculate the cost of every diet imaginable. FeedXL users say that meeting their horse's nutritional requirements makes their horses look better and saves them dollars. For more information, go to FeedXL.com. And now Mandee is with us. Well, hi, Mandee, and welcome back to Horse Tip Daily. We appreciate you joining us again.
Hey, Glenn.
It's always fun to speak with you because you're talking, you know, my name's Glenn the Geek, so, you know, what you talk about, it really appeals to me and my sense of geekiness. You could really be Mandee the Geek, you know, because
I could.
You're kind of geeky.
Have you seen my geek glasses?
Yes, they're as geeky. They make me look normal. I noticed you took those down. They were kind of disturbing in a way, actually.
Oh, they're funny. They're down on my Facebook page right now. I don't have it up as my profile picture, but I had that up for several weeks there. I'll probably put something else back up because it's kind of becoming part of my branding, actually. You know, sometimes you have to do something silly to get people's attention, and so
I wouldn't know anything about that, Mandee. All right, good. Well, we talk about social media and social networking, and what are we gonna help people with today?
Well, I thought we could talk about the new Facebook groups.
Yes, because you know what? They drove me nuts for the first couple of weeks. People were adding me. I didn't know what to do about it. It was all over the place. It was like one of the things that does drive me crazy is Facebook's propensity to do automatic add-ins and not allow people options. And, you know, when they change things and things like that, I really think it should be opt-out or opt-in, not opt-out. So anyway, sorry.
Sure. Yeah, well, I completely see where you're coming from. And so that's why I thought we could talk about that today so I can help people to better understand how these new groups work. If you're on Facebook and you're at all active and you found yourself added to random groups and you've got no idea where these groups came from or how you got in them. Well, Facebook actually just came out with this new Facebook groups feature just a few weeks back. I'm not sure on the exact date, but they just came out with them just recently, I think back in October. And so I didn't really know much about them in the beginning. I could see that people were adding me to these groups, and I didn't know how they were doing that because normally with anything like this, to join anything on Facebook, you have to opt in. But I was getting thrown in these groups, and I didn't have a clue what was going on, and suddenly I was getting bombarded with notifications, with emails, and so I decided to do some research and figure out what these groups were all about and if they were anything that I even wanted to partake in. So After doing some research, I found that you can actually turn off these emails. And I know you, Glenn, actually had you just learned how to do this yourself. These Facebook groups, if you get put into them and you don't know how to go in and turn those emails off, you can just go into the group. There's an edit settings button, and you can actually uncheck.
Which is in the upper right-hand corner, it looks like.
Yep, upper right-hand corner on the group. So find that group link if you're getting those emails into your inbox and you don't have a clue what they're about. Go in, click the edit settings button, turn the email notifications off. But check out the group and see if it's something that you might actually want to take part in, because I have found that these Facebook groups are a great way to interact with a small group of people on Facebook that are interested in the same things that you're interested in. Like, for example, I created a group on Facebook called Horse Industry Business Owners, and I didn't have a clue how it would work in the beginning. I just kind of created that as an experiment because I didn't know much about groups. And within the first hour, I actually had 100 people in that group, and I didn't add all of those people to that group myself. The thing about Facebook groups is you can actually go in. There's a button that says, add friends to this group. And that's how people are adding you to groups without your permission, because they can go in, they can type your name in, and they can put you in the group without asking. Now, I at first thought that was kind of rude of Facebook to create such a feature, but at the same time, I've found it kind of handy, because if you've got a handful of people that you really want in a group, you can put them in the group and get them interacting. And so you don't have to wait for them to opt into anything. You can just put them right in there, and if they don't want to be in there, there's another button on the page that says, leave this group. So if you don't want in, just leave. It's really, really simple. So back to this Horse Industry Business Owners group. It's a great group for anyone with a horse business to go in and actually self-promote their horse business. And so within that first hour, 100 people in that group, they were really, really enjoying talking amongst each other and sharing about their businesses. And that's how this group has developed into something as big as it is now. Right now, I'm not even sure on the amount of members that we have, but last I checked, I think it was over 150. I don't have my computer in front of me, so I'm not sure on the number, but I think about 150, and that's a nice number, I'd say, for people to be interacting with each other. You get too many, and you're going to have too much to keep up with. But this particular group has been great for just communicating with people and learning about other horse businesses and networking. And I honestly can say, if I hadn't been in this group and I hadn't created this group, there's a bunch of people in there that I may not have connected with, on a networking level, on a business level. And so it's been great for meeting people. There's also this really cool feature for those that want to use it called group chat. So everybody that's in the group can actually chat with each other in one chat window.
And you can turn that off too, by the way.
Yeah, you can turn that off too. So that's an edit settings option as well. So if you don't want to chat with people, turn that off. But if you do want to talk with others, it's very much like your regular Facebook chat. If you're used to chatting with your friends, now you can chat with them all in one group at the same time in one chat box. So I actually really like that feature. It's pretty handy. I do have it turned off in some groups that I'm part of, but in the horse group, I found it kind of fun to talk to other horse people in the chat. So,
well, one of the things I liked about groups is that your posts, with Facebook, you're limited to 500 characters or whatever. And with posts in the group, you can do longer postings. Yeah, which is really nice.
Mm-hmm. It is, because sometimes you've got more to say than what you can put in a status update on Facebook, and so to be able to type all of your information in there, and I have found people are really reading the longer posts too. So some people might think if it's too long, well, I'm not going to read it. But if it's an interesting business story, then it's kind of like a short blog post. You go and you read a bit about that person and their introduction, see what their business is about. And I read almost every post that goes in that group. I get a notification every time somebody puts something in there, and so I go and check it out. I don't get email notification because that would just fill up my inbox so fast. So I personally, whenever I join a new group, I always turn off email notifications. It's the first thing I do as soon as I'm put in a group. And then I kind of play around and see if it's a group that I want to be part of.
Well, that's terrific. And, very few people know much about it because we're all still figuring out Facebook. So I think that's terrific. And by the way, congratulations. You did put a nifty group together, the Horse Industry Business Owners. Now, you have that as a closed group, which means you're only allowed to come in by invitation, correct?
Right. Right. Now they can request to join the group, and I can put the link up. We could probably include that link right with this with this podcast, right, Glenn? We'll include that link so they can request to join if they'd like. What I like to do is I actually monitor people that are asking to join the group because I want to make sure that the people coming in are people that are actually going to participate and actually have an interest in horses and in business. I've had some people try to join that are local to me, but I know that they are interested in horses, and I know that they've got nothing really to contribute to the group. And so I don't always let those people in. I might let some in, but I try to keep the group pretty targeted so that we don't end up with spammers or anything in the group.
How did I get in there?
I think I put you in there.
Well, thank you very much, Mandee. I think that's terrific. It's good to know more about this. And, of course, people can find you where?
They can find me at chargedupmedia.com.
And you actually do services for business to help them with their new media campaigns, and you will actually do it for them too, correct?
Yes, I do. Yep.
Okay, great. Well, thank you, Mandee. We appreciate you being here.
Thanks, Glenn.
Well, thank you, Mandee. I got to tell you, I learn a lot when I'm speaking to Mandee, and she just knows her stuff when it comes to social media and marketing, and I've just been very impressed, and I learn something every time. So it's a pleasure to have her on, and we hope that you learn a little something, too, about this wild world of new media. Well, we'll be back again tomorrow with another new expert and a different horse tip. Until then, stay safe, everyone. Wear your helmet, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements of guests or their opinions. Use your own judgment when listening to the tips provided by the experts on Horse Tip Daily.